Doyle. I'm a painter and freelance illustrator. My artwork is a lifelong endeavor to contribute something meaningful to people and to our culture at large. So over the years, I've gotten requests from people asking to use my images as tattoos. Recently, my friend Jay, who was in the last video, made the suggestion to talk with these folks, and I thought it was a really great idea. I've been curious to hear the reasons that led people to choose my work to be a permanent part of their lives. You know, how has my creative expression become a part of their own expression? So I reached out on social media, and what you're about to watch is the result. Mostly we'll be focused on their responses, and I'll just pop in again at the end with a few closing thoughts. Enjoy.
I was searching for tattoo. I want to bird or wolf because it's one of my favorite animals. I really want, and I was like, oh, I cannot find bird, raven, exactly raven. I cannot find one to be like girly. Everyone was like too spicy, too dangerous, and I wanted something to be like me, more like me. And when I saw it on Google images, in a very small version, I was like, this is it. I'm sure this is it. I want it on my back. I want it here. But the problem was it was small. It was like that, very small. And I was like, I need to find who created, because I saw its picture. I need to find who created. Maybe he will have it on his side, and I will be able to stole it.
I found your work through the Raven Boys. You doing the artwork for that, and I fell in love with it. So I started researching your paintings, and I found Binary Ode, and something just, I connected with it. I loved it. I saw it and I thought, I want that like forever. It's so beautiful. I was 18 when I got it, so that was 4 years ago. The tattoo took about 6 hours, so it's a pretty big piece.
Wow. Was that one session, or did you do?
That's my
Yeah, I got a couple here too. Was that all in one session, or did you go back?
All in one session. So that's how I normally like to do my tattoos. I mean, that's the biggest one that I have.
So I originally saw it from the cover of the Raven Boys series. I have a friend of mine who works at a children's bookstore, and they do like from children until young adults. And I used to go and visit her all the time when we were in Chicago, and she would have they would have the books out on display. And that's actually where I first saw the artwork, because I've always been really into ravens because I love Edgar Allan Poe, and so it just kind of caught my eye, I guess, from the covers, because I would see like the paintings of the ravens. And then a few years later, when I decided I wanted to get sort of like a raven tattoo because of Edgar Allan Poe, and I was looking for just kind of inspiration, like pictures, I came across your picture of a raven, and then I was like, okay, that's the one. Like, that's the one I'm gonna get.
I've never seen anything else like your work. It's very, very unique, and I love it. I love how you use color, and I love how you insert things inside of something else. Like you've got like a wolf, but you've got other wolves or something inside of that. It's like it's got layers to it. And you can keep looking at it and you'll see something new every time, which sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. It's true with your work. And it's like some movies, you can watch them and still see stuff even after the 20th viewing.
It's not only that it's beautiful, it's different. I never see something like this in art. That's why it's one of the reasons why I chose this raven. It was like somehow dark, but somehow having like a, I don't know, light inside, because it was the colors dark around and green. Mine is not green. Tattoo artist changed it to blue. Yeah, but the colors was, I don't know, it's working for your head, for your mind. Yeah. This is good. Yeah. Because some arts, I'm not artist, I cannot understand pictures like professionals, but some you see and you say, I don't know what is it. When I see this one or other ones, your raccoon with, I don't remember with...
flower.
Yeah. It has a meaning. I read a story about this. Yeah, it has a meaning. It's nice to have a meaning.
So, this has been years ago. I think I've had my tattoo probably going on 3 or 4 years. I mean, the first one, and I got the second one pretty fast after that. In fact, there's some more. I'm gonna keep going with your work if that's okay, to like finish my like leg sleeve. But I remember that I was wanting a tattoo on my leg, and I wanted something nature inspired. And I think I was on Tumblr, and you just surfing the web, and I was on Tumblr, and I had like, I have a wolf hybrid as a pet. His name is Blaze.
You have a wolf hybrid dog pet?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. His mother is Mackenzie Valley Wolf out of Canada, and his dad is half Arctic Timber, half Malamute. So he's like this 130-pound, terrifying-looking wolf with fluffy hair. So I was like, I kind of wanted to. I was going for the whole wolf route, and so I was just like coming online, and then I like come across your paintings, and I wanted something more like different. I didn't want like the traditional black and white or traditional Sailor Jerry, anything like that. So I saw your work, and it was very abstract, and it was very colorful, and that's what I wanted. And I remember I took it and I saved it onto my desktop, and I put it as my background. And I was like, if I like this for 6 months, I might get it tattooed.
Well, for me, they're, a form of artwork, but I also have self-harm scars. So they're there to cover them, but also to remind me, that even though I have those scars, I also have this beautiful artwork on my body as well. And so it makes me feel more confident about myself.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, because the scars can be a sensitive subject of a time that's difficult, whereas the tattoos can be also they're also as sort of permanent on your body, but they're signifying something that you're purposeful about and want to communicate.
Mm-hmm. And instead of people asking me about my scars, I'd rather them ask me about my tattoos.
Right. Are the tattoos covering the scars, or are they just pulling attention away?
Both. So I have too many scars to cover all of them, but I think it does a good job doing both. It covers them and also draws the attention away from the ones that it couldn't cover.
Mm-hmm. So you're one of the few people when I've talked to that I haven't had to ask what image you got.
Oh yeah. So I sent it to you, I believe.
No, because it's right there.
You can see it. Okay. So this is it.
Yeah.
I can't
that's great.
It's really bad where I am.
It's very clear.
The screen, but yeah, I got that one in 2018. That was actually my most recent one. Absolutely love it. So that one is my favorite. So I got this one almost a year after. I was in a pretty bad car crash. Okay. And so I had I still have just a ton of pain in this area. And I was tired of looking at that and being like, this is just this awful, painful thing, and I'm not happy with what my body's doing and how it's feeling. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to reclaim it and put something on there that I like, that gives me back, I guess, my agency over it. And so that's kind of what that was, and I couldn't figure out for a little while. Like I knew I was going to get one there in that exact spot. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do yet. So I'm very drawn to like nature and animal kind of imagery. So I was kind of like, all right, well, what if I want to do like an animal, and kind of evolve from there. And I got stuck on the idea of crows. And oh my gosh, I think I found it on Pinterest. I don't think people use that anymore. So I got it at the tattoo convention that year in Chicago. I knew I was going to get something. I knew I was going to get it there. I wasn't fully set on it, but I had, the whole folder or board of saved images on Pinterest, and I was really drawn to this one because I had the other ones were like mainly like realistic crows and just like photos. And I guess the art nerd in me was super drawn to. It's like, oh my goodness, the paint strokes are just beautiful. So that was what did it.
Yeah.
It's just really, they were really neat. And so when I found those drawings, that's when I had her do it, because I was like, I just want to get all of them. I don't know why, at the time I had to pick one because, I didn't want to be at the tattoo parlor all day. But then, yeah, I'm glad I kept them. And definitely I want more. Yeah, I think this was pre-Facebook. This was like early 2000s.
Yeah.
So she filled them in with color, and then I went down to little 5 points and got them all tattooed on. So I have all 4 that you drew for me, all that time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, which thank you so much for that, by the way.
Sure.
And I just love having like artist work on me, because I just love, people notice it, especially like little kids. I guess because they're on my thigh. Love the color, and they're like, "Ooh, butterfly," and or they're like, "Oh, it's like a man with wings." They'll get really looking at it. They get really interested because it is kind of like a human figure, but with wings.
That's interesting because it's a little bit abstract, so I suppose there's a degree of a kind of an ink blot effect, where different people see slightly different things.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids always say butterfly, but like adults will be like, they'll look at it a little bit more closely, and they'll kind of see, or they'll ask if it's a fairy, are they fairies? It's like, yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't remember like there being a specific word like for what, like, because I didn't want butterflies. I know that's like really common.
I'm gonna say, even my tattoo artist, I was searching for the best one.
Okay.
I was like, I wanted to be exactly like the picture, like the image. I don't want it to create something. I wanted to be exactly the feathers, to be like pencil moves. Yeah. And he said, it will be something new. I never did something like this. It will be something new for me, and I'm excited to do it. I want to do it, he said. I remember it. And he did it, and he liked what he did. I like what he did.
Good.
It was the funny story about this was like, when he did it, he wanted money for this, and I was so happy that he do it so nice that I don't know if people do it normally for tattoo. I leave a tip and I go away, and they call me, Magda, you make a mistake. You give us too much money. I say, no, I did it especially. I really like it. I want you to take it. Yeah. I really like it.
That's nice. I don't know if that's common or not, but that's nice that you felt that way. Was this in Poland? Or in
it was in Poland. It was near my home, in the city, because I live in village. It was quite difficult to find a good artist to do it. Yeah. But I did it.
And your parents were okay with it?
My parents. They don't like tattoo. They are not fans. Father didn't have a big problem. But mother, when she saw it, she was like, because I told her I will do raven, and she was like, okay. She was thinking it will be small one and cute.
Yeah.
And she saw it. The word she said, it was like, let me remember. What is this nasty bird on your back?
Oh no.
Yeah. And I was like, why nasty? It's beautiful.
Has she changed her opinion of it, or does she still feel it's a nasty bird?
No. I think with the time when she get used to it, she don't have a problem.
Okay.
Maybe she don't like it because it's not her thing, but she understands that it's thing what I like, that it's something what I like, what I want to show. Because I have a way of, it's a meaning for me. It has a meaning. It's not just like I want to be tattoo girl. No,
sure.
It has a meaning.
These paintings, and I was like, I think I found it, and she looked at it and she's like, no, really, you just found it.
No, really, that's it. Like it just like immediately I was like, oh, that's the right one. Yeah, I knew it as soon as I seen it. I was like, yep, we're done. And then it was late July because we got it like mid-August. It was late July when we found it, and so then I was like, well, crap, now I have to go find a tattoo artist, right? Because I hadn't gotten I don't think you had gotten a tattoo in this locale either, right? So we already had previous tattoos, but not here.
Okay.
So I was like, and then we looked at your painting, and it's a painting, right? It's brush strokey. It's very like, and I was like, you can't just go to some guy who just stencils crap on you. Like, you got to find a guy. So then a whole nother search happened, right? Now I have to figure out who can actually pull this off. Yeah. So I figured out that there's people who actually have talent, right? But they don't paint. They're not an artist. They do tattoos, right? So I figured out I needed somebody who could do watercolors because this is like a shady, blendy, there's not rigid edges. Like they have to actually have the skill to do this.
Yeah.
And we found this guy, Patrick, who he came from Alaska, and he had, and so he lived in Alaska with the whole like Northern Lights thing going on, and he had tattooed the Northern Lights and painted or sketched the Northern Lights, and I was like, maybe we should go talk to this guy. And it happens he was like 3 blocks from my best friend's house, so I was like, okay, we'll go hang out with my best friend and go meet this guy. And so we went and we talked to him, and he was like, yeah, I could do that, that's fine, no big deal, right? And he's in one of the shops that they don't have any artwork on the wall. They are 100% custom tattoos. So you bring either a SketchUp of what you want, or you bring an idea and they sketch it for you. So you have to have a meeting that you pay for, okay, prior to your tattoo meeting, right? So there's like a 2 or 3 step evolution here. So it's like real stuff. And I was like, okay, this is like, that's the real deal. Like this guy is serious, And so we did that, and we went there. He was like, yeah, no problem, blah, 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 right? So we set the date. We were supposed to get it in November, which is our actual anniversary. You notice I said we got it in August, right? Yeah. Because we were like, no, really, we want this tattoo. It's awesome.
Waiting for the on the schedule.
We were like, first available, that's what we want. And to just get all of those, he was like, swear, I took, I think, 3 hours, and he took like 30 minutes. This is like
just
all
because
black.
the color.
Like, how many colors? He's like, I'm not doing one of these for a really long time. Just like you.
I'm not doing this again.
Came out. Like, it's probably similar. I'm not a painter by any means, but I do craft, so I at least appreciate that there's this whole like dynamic to it, like you have to be able to stroke things a certain way, or angle them a certain way, or dust them a certain way, whatever. And so for him to be able to pull that off is like brilliant. I have like little spots. I sat here I think for like a month or so just like in awe at how brilliant it was.
Yeah.
And I think if I would have his skin tone, it wouldn't look as good.
Yeah.
Because he tans so easily. So it's actually good that he got the darker bird, because you can see his blood red that pokes out right here, but if he tried to have this shading of a color, it would not have come out as good because you just wouldn't be able to see it. But mine, I'm just so pale all the time that you can see the purples, you can see the little dots of the blues. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
it is. It's really awesome. It's a really awesome painting, and I'm glad we have it.
Yeah.
Being with somebody who's like in pain, and you're causing them pain, and you're like, okay, well, how much longer do you want to do on this tattoo? Like, are you okay? Do you want to keep going? Actually, about an hour into this one, I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. So I thought, you know, I was either going to have to leave unfinished or come back the next day, something like that. But I kind of got it together and sat for the other 4 hours. A lot of like controlling your breathing.
Yeah.
So you didn't go into shock. A lot of people have, you know, they'll start not being able to control your movements or something. Like you're getting your arm tattooed and your arm's like moving a little, like you're flinching. And then at that point, it's like, I don't want to be unfair to the artist and ask them to tattoo me when I'm moving uncontrollably.
Even in Polish, we have a saying about the ravens. It's like I was trying to find it in English. It turns one to knows one.
It takes one to know one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like it so much because I read about the ravens. Because before I do it, I wanted to learn more, and I found that they, when a raven find a female, they stay together forever. They are very connecting. They are also one of the most intelligent. I don't know, because people always say it's a bird what is eating death. It's a scavenger. Scavenger.
Correct.
I was like, no, it's not only this. They are so smart.
They are. Yeah.
They can use tools. It's not a lot of birds who use tools.
It's true.
And last few days ago, I found, to be more fresh, I found that they are even fasting to get better rewards. They fast. I mean,
they stop eating.
They can. People have them in the cages, and they give them food as a reward.
Yeah.
If they learn that if they don't eat one day, if they fast, another day people give them better reward, and they understand it. They do it. It's perfect. They are really intelligent animals.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
For me, it was, you know, like I said, I've always been really, really into Edgar Allan Poe. Ever since high school, I was like really into ravens and just Edgar Allan Poe. And then I moved to Arizona, and there's actually wild ravens here. So like I could go out into my backyard and there'll be one in my backyard. So I think a raven kind of meant something a little different to me when I got here, because now it's like, this was the first time I kind of went out on my own. I left my family. I just like put whatever fit in my car and left. And it was like, I think a bit of almost like a freedom, or just being able to be myself. So I don't know, I just really connected to the piece when I saw it. And I was like, I wanted it as like a print or a painting for my house. And at the time I couldn't actually find it. So I was like, forget it. Instead of a print, I'm going to get it tattooed. So that's
a logical step.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know what else to do. So I was like, forget it. I'm just going to get a tattoo. So now I have the raven, and it kind of reminds me of like Arizona and being at home. And I was actually going to get a cardinal, because you have a cardinal painting. I was going to get that one on the other side because that's the Illinois bird. So it's
right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I also love the crow too. It wasn't just that I wanted to get anything on this spot and get, you know, a skull with things coming out of it. That wouldn't quite have the same vibe.
Yeah, they're good like spirit animals or guides or something. Like they're good company. Smart.
Yeah, definitely have. I mean, there are a lot of like association stories and different pictures, mythologies. Everybody has like a different. I had someone ask me one time, like, why did you want like a scary animal? Scary? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get, you know, like a bluebird or something, but I liked, you know, the kind of darkness and that imagery. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
As much this way now because a lot of people have them now, but it used to be a thing that could keep somebody from talking to you. You know, they see some tattoos on you and they're like, okay, that's going to be like a rough and tumble kind of person, and they'll probably punch me in the face for asking them a question. And it can keep people from talking to you, which I really like sometimes, you know. That's, I want to just, because engaging with strangers is not something that comes easily for me. I don't really care for it. Sometimes I do, though. I mean, if somebody is, you know, I don't know, just seems interesting. Maybe they're sitting a certain way or something, you know, just seems more interesting than, you know, but I, you know, it kind of, like, people who aren't afraid to ask you questions because you're tattooed, that right there is kind of interesting. It's like, okay, you have a little bit of bravery in you. It's kind of like weeding it out, you know. But then you get the tattoos, and, you know, it can become a conversation starter for the people who aren't afraid to approach you, you know, because I like a little bit of bravery in people.
I had one story. I went to office here in my village, and I was like doing my stuff, and man asked me, he asked me in Greek, what is this on your back? Can you tell? I am really curious. What is this? I'm turning and I'm saying, it's my tattoo. It's a raven. Why raven? They are bad. They are not good birds. And I said the story, what I think about ravens. What is it for me?
Smart.
And he was like, so what? They are really intelligent. And the other man, old man, invited to our conversation, and he said, they are, and you should know, they are going up, high up in the sky with a nut, dropping it just to open. And the other man was like, really? And I said my stuff about spiritual things, what I believe. Yeah. And he said, oh, nice, thank you for a lesson. Now I know what is a raven.
That's great.
I go away.
That's great.
Yeah. I like this stuff.
And I was in a store just kind of shopping around, and I had just a tank top on, and they could see it. And some guy actually stopped me to ask me what, where that picture or that image came from. And I pulled up your website on my phone to show him. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. And actually it's weird. I never really thought about it, but people, when they see your tattoos, like, sometimes they'll come up and they'll talk to you. I even had a lady, she must have been 65, 70 in a changing room once, asked me about my tattoos and, you know, where did I get them? And she always wished she got one. And so it's interesting.
So much stuff is like, some kid who's technically inclined reads a sci-fi story and he's like, I'm gonna make that real, you know. Like, that's how sci-fi becomes reality.
Yeah.
Stories are powerful things, and tattoos in a lot of cultures are how you tell your story, you know. A lot of them are like your name, your personal name, your family name, not the name you give out, but like the name that your family knows you by, things like that. And so having an artist actually do something, make something that's just for you, that nobody else is going to have, is a great, I mean, that's like the ultimate quilt making right there. That's the ultimate storytelling, because, you know, you have that's on you, and you get to look at it every day. You know, and people ask about it, and I don't know, it's kind of like a conversation starter, but at the same time too, you can always be like, I can't, like, I'm not going to tell you that story. Like, I don't know you. Because people do that too. People are like, what does that mean? And it's just like, tattoos are personal things. You don't just tell people you don't know.
We are created like a paper, white paper without anything. We are just clear. I think tattoo, like other things people create, music, everything. What is art? What we call art? What is entertaining? What is beautiful? What is interesting? Inside this is tattoo. Tattoo are the tattoos. I think this is the way to show ourselves here on the earth. Some people do piercing, some people do art like you, some people sing. I cannot sing, so I make a tattoo to show to others and to myself what I like, what I feel inside. Because for me, a raven is a symbol of is a guardian of human's spiritual path, and it's a symbol of intelligence. Even in Nordic mythology, they use ravens both on Odin's arms. Greek mythology, they was using ravens. I was like, this is my thing. I like it so much. All of this together, it's like writing story that we can show, because on our bodies, it's like not for someone to learn it. It's like for us to have it not only in our minds, to feel it, to be able to feel it because we have it. Yeah, it's.
Standing on like a mirror, like ice, like a lake that's been frozen over, and then there's all those sort of greenish trees in the background. And I love things that are cute but have a sinister feel. You know, like, because I feel like that's what the world's like.
Yeah, it's very relatable.
Yeah, and that's very much that picture. It looks like it's the spookiest freaking forest on a frozen lake, and yet you have this bright, colorful thing, and then a little, I guess, kid, a little girl or a woman.
Little girl.
Yeah.
That's definitely like a motif, and maybe it is something to do with growing up with like Jim Henson or Sesame Street, or maybe not related at all. But yeah, the complement of something big and animalistic and powerful juxtaposed with like just a small person, and having a kind of trust there, I find to be a very powerful motif.
Yeah, I mean, that's very cool. Yeah, and that's neat. I like to see what your perspective on your work is too.
And I just I like very abstract, very I like the trippy part of the art and stuff. So
when you say trippy, can you elaborate? Because like there's connotations with drugs, which I have no problem with at all. But I'm just curious about what trippy means for you.
I will tell you that I've ate mushrooms and looked at it before, and it's really cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that's one of my friends. We've been to a couple places, and we like to. We'll sometimes, it's like maybe like we do it once or twice a year.
Sure.
We'll go in nature and we'll hike or go to the mountains, and we'll eat some shrooms and chill. And one of the things I always do is look at my tattoos. It's very cool to see them moving on my leg, and the colors of how my tattoo artist, she did what she had to go over it. Like the wolf took like almost 9 hours. And she's like, she would put color in, and then she'd have to go back over the color, and it's almost like you can see the different shades of color just coming in and out of this. It's very, very, very cool.
Yeah. Tell me a little more about, I think it's interesting. Tell me a little about the shroom experience.
Oh, it's just like with the tattoos, or just and all.
I mean, however they overlap. I mean, I'm just saying this as a person that like I think there's actually a tremendous amount of wisdom in shrooms and like mycelia, and I think the ideas around, if you've heard of them, around how they may have been involved with our evolution, the stoned ape theory, I think is all very, very interesting. So that's part of why I'm asking.
It's very it definitely changed me as a person, but for the better. It definitely opens up your mind to different things that you don't even realize that are there. You definitely, like for me, like it definitely connects you more with nature, makes you feel more as one. I'm a big believer now that everything happens for a reason. Everything's connected. I don't care if someone steps on an ant in Saudi Arabia, it affects the whole entire world. It's very enlightening. You feel way more at peace. You don't have it kind of during the the trip. It kind of takes away not your inhibitions, but it takes away your stress. you're able to go through and just, you see good in the world. Like, people definitely have bad trips, but I've always had good experience. You know, it makes you feel closer to people. Like, we always doing, like, with my friends and stuff. We've been on the beach, we've been hiking, you know, we've just been in the house before, but it just makes you feel all connected and really just enlightened and a happier person. It makes you think about things that you wouldn't normally think about. As far as like religion and spirituality and stuff like that, I feel like I definitely have a more personal grasp on what I believe is more out there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we like to like look at paintings. We didn't even, you know, it was like a couple times before I even realized, like, hey, we should look at my tattoo and see, you know, all the abstract work, you know, because we're all about looking at paintings and pictures and nature. And just when you look at it, it looks like you're looking into a alternate universe. It's like, oh, you take your hand and reach right through the wolf, and you're going to a serene world that's just full of magic. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And the truth, I actually got your tattoo before I ever tried shrooms. So like, that wasn't a thing that like propelled me to get it, because I hadn't even done shrooms. I just did shrooms for the first time like 3 years ago. So it was before I got your tattoo before I had done them. And it was just like I said, I just like the appearance and the mystery behind it. You know, it's not black and white. It's not all straight lines and a one shape. You know, in your artwork you have swirls, and you have, you know, different colors, and you have, you know, this going here. You know, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect picture. It's, you know, it almost looks like it's constantly changing. And I think that's what drew me more to that when I got it, was that it's something different, it's changing, but it's still beautiful. So that's what I like that about it.
That's really cool.
It's almost like you have a different portal that's on my body that, you know, you can go through and experience things through.
I'm just kidding. It looks, I mean, from here it looks perfect. That's cool.
Do you want to see it, like how we actually did it?
Yeah.
It's super gay.
Oh my God. Wow. That's really nice.
Planned.
Wow, that's really nice. Hey, so whether or not you knew about my work, or whether or not you're into tattoos at all, I hope you found these conversations worth watching. So to be clear, I'm not here to encourage getting tattoos at all, of my work or anybody else's. Honestly, I don't have any tattoos myself, but with that said, I do find it flattering that this is something that people have done and continue to do. On top of the subject of art and tattoos, I'll say that I found these conversations really pleasant to have, you know, in particular because of this extended isolation that we're all going through. Speaking for 30 minutes, or in some cases, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours with people I'd never met, except for Jenny, who I met once years ago. It was all just really enjoyable. It was really nice just to have that interaction with people. There are some things, of course, that in particular that stood out to me. I really enjoyed hearing about how tattoos can be a means to interact with other people, that is to say, with strangers. I found it very powerful to hear about stories about the tattoos as a means of reclaiming one's body. You know, I'll give a thank you to Sarah and Jocelyn for being open and vulnerable about that in their lives. I want to thank Magdalena for braving the language barrier. English is, as I learned, her third language. So that was, I think, really great that she did that. There's a lot of people who wanted to have conversations but were not confident with their English, which I totally understand. My own faculties for other languages is really poor. Tried German in high school, and then when I was in Italy, Italian, and then Cantonese, and my brain is not attuned for languages. So shout out and credit to Magda for her conversing with me on that. I think it's fascinating and super fun the way these images are used as portals. I think that's really fun to, explore while in a state of altered consciousness. I love how they are representational symbolically, as we talked about, of a guardian or another place, another home. That's really wonderful. And also just things about how simply by taking these images and putting them on the body, there becomes a whole new compositional dynamic, some interacting, which is really neat. So yeah, I won't go on about this. I ultimately found it really inspiring to learn about how people have engaged with my artwork. These really terrific people. It was really fun to meet them and talk, to learn more. And I'll just close out by saying, art is a really tough career. It's primarily solitary. It touches me a lot in ways that I never intended or expected. That my artwork has all these different kinds of meaning for people. So thanks to them, and thank you for watching. Bye.
It's my picture, so I can use it.
That's your picture.
Yeah.
How'd you make that?
I took it with a telescope and a camera.
Really?